Good morning everyone and welcome back to my channel. So as promised today, I'm going to do a complete look using the new Glowing Pretty Skin palette. I have to keep checking the name. And I thought what I was going to do today is, I said to you yesterday that this would be a really nice present. I've got my old burgundy brush kit here. So I thought, why not do a complete look using these? Now when I go away, I'm just going to show you. I have tucked in the back here, you will see some samples. I collect every time I order, and I get samples because every time you order from Charlotte Tilbury you get 2 free samples. So I collect up the samples and I put them in a little drawer for when I'm away. So I always have like a magic cream in there. I might have an eye rescue in there. I'll have a foundation in there. And I also have a retoucher in here. Okay, now I'm not going to use up my samples because obviously I'm not away, but I'm going to pretend like I am, okay? But then I've got in here, I can fit in a one of her Hollywood lips, and so I've put that in here this morning, and I can fit in an eyeliner, Rock and Coal eyeliner. I can fit in a little mascara. Either this one's a matte one, but Charlotte has done some little miniature ones as well that fit in here. So there's a mascara in here. There's a lip liner. So I wait until when I get a lip liner or an eyeliner that I'm running out of, I basically put it in this pouch because they don't quite fit when they're full size, but when they're running out they do. And then I've got my brushes and I've got my eyelash curler. So basically I've got everything in there with that and this palette to do up my entire face, which suits me just fine because I don't want to move around a lot this morning. Okay, now I'm not going to use the sample, so I've got my retoucher here, I've got my magic foundation here, and I've got my Youth Glow here. Okay, so but we'll pretend that they're the samples. So let's get going with this look. Now, obviously, when you're away, you don't necessarily have a brush to put on your foundation. But actually, you don't need one. It looks just as good if you put on your foundation with your fingers. And how many of us put on foundation with our fingers for years? I did. I can't remember, but it's only been in the last sort of 10-15 years that people have gone on about brushes and foundations, but for a long time I used to put foundation on with my hands. Okay, and then I'm going to put some up here. So this is Brightening Youth Glow, which I often have samples of.
I'm stage 1.
And Wonder Glow.
I'm stage 1.
Brighten up my complexion.
Level 17.
I always make sure that I got an extra bit under my eyes. This is starting to give me hyperpigmentation even with extra sunscreen. I've just made the problem worse, haven't I? Never mind. There's always makeup to cover it up. So, next we have the Magic Foundation, and I'm using 6.75. And I'm going to put it on with my hands. So I'll just dot that around like so.
You stole my chest, brother. No.
Someone's playing Fortnite again, as you can hear. He always gets to play Fortnite when I'm doing my videos. And we're going out later on. So, I'm getting ready. Thank you for all your lovely comments. And thank you to... Oh, do you know what? Your online name's going to elude me. I'll come back on afterwards or do a voiceover. But to the lady that... wrote to Charlotte Tilbury on Instagram this morning, beginning with G, and I can't, you know how bad I am at names. telling them what a good channel it was, and that they should recognise me. I just thought it was so sweet. I was welling up.
Oh, there he is.
So it's a big shout out and thank you to Gelateria 2004 on YouTube, or Gelateria 2009 on Instagram. Thank you so much. I really appreciated it. See, so foundation with your hands isn't too bad. Obviously you can take a foundation brush with you if you want. And then I'm just going to dot some more
Okay, just stop moaning.
around this area where I have hyperpigmentation. Again, as I would stipple with a brush, I'm patting it in. So this is kind of the hand equivalent of stippling. And you definitely don't get any streaks when you do it this way. And it ends up looking more like skin. Put a bit more on my nose there. And a bit round there. Just build some up around the areas. This pesky cold, I wish it would go away.
Oh, okay, just a sec.
I noticed yesterday I called it Lady Million, Lady Billion, because of my cold. So you're now Lady Billion, okay?
Cornfield right now, bro. I'm running for my life.
I did actually say Lady Million. It's just that my nose was so bunged up that it sounded like Lady Billion. Oh, don't you hate that when you get a hair stuck to your foundation? Okay, now I'm going to go in with my retoucher, or with the hands.
Okay.
We'll move on to the brushes in a minute. But the retoucher is actually good with your hands, as is Magic Away.
Ooh, shadow sun.
I haven't tested actually to see if Magic Away fits into that brush case. I don't reckon it would, but I'll give it a try. And I'll let that dot a bit over my eyes to use it as a bit of an eye primer. And down onto my cheeks. It's great this way because you can actually feel where the product is and where you've got too much. So you can kind of start to spread it where you feel it's sort of clumping up. It's vastly underrated, putting makeup on with your hands. I do like the control of a brush. I like the blendability of the Beauty Blender. But it's good to shake things up once in a while. Do my little thread veins. The retoucher doesn't quite cut it with my thread veins, but Magic Away does. And I'll do my little... I actually have got a couple of samples of her Mini Miracle Eye Wand. It's really... there's a sachet with the serum on one side and the brightener on the other. Okay, I think that's done. Of course, I didn't think of brow products, but let me improvise. I'm always good for improvising. I'm just going to give my hands a wipe and I'll be right back. I meant to tell you the other day, I saw... Oh, itchy, itchy. I got little hair again. I saw someone actually blotting... The way that I blot my concealer, like this, they actually blotted their entire face after their foundation, which I thought, I'm going to try that, so I'm doing that today. Actually, quite a lot came off there doing that. So just do my head.
Oh, there's someone in this house. There's someone in this house. It's a bush. It's a bush boy.
Okay. So
I
not
have a
too much.
hunting
It did
rifle
under
in my
that eye for some reason, so I probably had too much on.
Bush boy, watch out for bush boy.
And now let us go in with the palettes, because we need to use the powder and
How did I not notice bush boy?
the blush brush from her travel set. Okay, I'm just going to make sure that this is clean. I should have used my new one, but I like keeping it nice and new. Do other people do that when they get new stuff? They don't use it straight away. They like to keep it new. Terrible. I'm sure lots of people do that. So I'm just going to firstly dab this under my eyes. So I'm going in with the Airbrush Flawless Finish Powder, which is in this part of the palette here. Okay. Now someone was asking about the shade 1. It was Virginia in the powder, and was wondering about whether or not they could get away with this. It's so difficult to tell you guys offline, because I don't want to be responsible for you buying something that is going to cost you £49 that you can't return. But so I really sort of hate saying it, but I don't actually think this. My opinion is, I don't think there's an awful lot of difference between shade 2 and 3. Sorry, there is difference between 2 and 3. Between 1 and 2 in her powder. I think the difference is in the undertone. So whereas shade 2 is got more of a yellow undertone, then shade 1 has got more of a pink undertone, which is why it's for fairer skin, because most fairer skins have got more of pink in their undertone, and medium skins have got more of a yellow. But I don't think it's actually, when they're coded in terms of fair and medium, I don't think there's an awful lot of difference in terms of the shade difference, i.e. it's not a lot darker. I think it's more about the undertone. So I think that's probably why she put shade 2 into this palette, because I think that unless you're extremely, extremely fair, or unless you're extremely dark, I think you can get away with using shade 2. So I would, if it was me and I was shade 1, I would certainly risk it. But I am just aware that obviously £49 is a lot to spend if you can't use one of the products in the palette. But on balance, I would say that you're going to be okay. If you look at that on my finger, you can see that it looks, if you swatch it against my skin, it actually is a lot fairer than my skin. It's not, because it's quite translucent to use, so it's not like a powder foundation in that it's going to add a lot of colour to you. It's quite, if it went on that colour on me, it would wash me out, but it doesn't go on, because once you blend it, it actually becomes quite translucent. So I think you could get away with it, but obviously it's up to you. But I think it's just going to be a bit more of a yellow undertone, which you can kind of balance out by using other products if it looks too yellow on you. Okay, so my eyes starting to water again. Oh, the joys of watery eyes. And this retoucher is not waterproof, but anyway, I might go over it afterwards with Magic Away. But I just wanted to demonstrate how you can put this entire, use this palette and the brush kit to do an entire look. So next I'm going to go in and I'm going to use some of the products on my eyes. So First of all, you can use the Airbrush Flawless finish. Let me just smooth that out to kind of prime your eyes. And just make sure that that foundation stops creasing on you. And then I'm going to go in with the lighter one of the two shades, which is the top one. Okay, and I'm going to put that onto the lids as a kind of prime shade all the way across. And blending it all the way up, not stopping just before the brow bone. Other side. I actually really like pink on my eyelids. I think it looks really nice and fresh. So also, I think someone was asking about the difference and whether or not they should get an instant look in a palette or this. And that is a really tough one to answer, because obviously you're not getting the eyeshadows with this one, which is why I wanted to show you this today. But with the other one, you're not getting the powder. So it really is swings and roundabouts. It depends what you'd rather have, whether you'd rather have the powder to carry in the palette or separately, or whether you'd rather have the eyeshadows, or whether you think this is a decent enough look without getting instant look in a palette. It's really tough call between the two. If I have any more thoughts, I'm going to let you know. So next I'm going to go in with this darker. It doesn't look dark in here. Sorry, the light. This darker one here underneath. And I'm just going to take that onto the outer edge of my eyes to build up the colour. Now you can see when you put it on the eyes, you can see there's a lot more difference than on the cheek. It kind of builds up the intensity. And on the other one, so outer corner, and into the socket.
Yes, launchpad.
Right, now I'm going to take my smudge brush from the travel kit, and I'm going to put that darker pink, the bottom I'm going to put underneath. So I'm treating this as though it's kind of an enhanced shade. So I treated these two as a kind of prime shade, and this one as an enhanced shade. And this one's not going to go on very well because my eye's still watering. And then I'll take a little bit and take that along the top lash line.
Just found the purple bowl.
Like so. Actually, I might do that in another order in a minute. Now, next of all, I'm going to take the smudge brush,
Take the blue
and with the bronzing shade, I'm going to nestle that into the corner, like so, and then up. into the socket.
Yes, compact.
Which is just going to darken up that pink a little bit more. Now I'm just placing it at the moment, and then I will go in and blend it. In actual fact, I think because it's quite light, it would be better to just go in straight away. I don't know what that is on my blending brush. Go in straight away with the blending brush and do this. Because it's not that dark. If it was a darker one, I'd have placed it first and then gone in and blended it in. But there's no need with this.
I'm being sniped midair.
So I'm treating this as though it's a smoke shade. It has got a bit of shimmer in this, but not too much, as you probably know from her Bronze and Glow palette, because it's the same sort of thing. It's got a bit of shimmer, but not so much that it's going to show up imperfections. And then I'm going to go back in with my smudge brush, and I'm going to take that underneath and underneath this side, and again I'm going to take that a little bit over the top. It's going to be quite subtle, but just to define them a little bit more. And then I'm going to take this pink highlighter here, and I'm going to use that to highlight my brow bone and to highlight this brow bone. And a little bit tucked into the corner here.
Oh, they're fighting on the mountain. Yep, you're right.
This smudge brush is great for doing this. And then with my finger, I'm just going back in and just pop a bit of that as a pop shade into the centre of my lid. Just to bring the light into the centre of the lid. Okay, now I'm going to take my Rock and Coal in Barbarella Brown from my brush kit.
I did like about 40 or 36.
I use that to line my eyes. I'll just shut this for a minute. And then blend that in with my fingers. And I take this down here and into that corner bit and pull it out just so that it links it together underneath. That's my feline tick, as I called it. So down here, this one's not going to work as well because it's still wet. And then into that corner, up towards my brow, and then blend it up and out, like so.
It can't.
Now I'm going to take my little sample of MAC Upward Lash. I actually love these samples of mascara because I find them easier. It's like if you ever get a little sample when you go and have a makeover at MAC, or the little brushes that they use to put into the bigger ones, grab some because they are so handy and they do make it easier to put the mascara on because they're smaller, so you can kind of get in more to those little lashes in the corner without the wand getting in the way. I actually bought a load of mascara wands, so that if I'm making up anybody else, mind you, I wouldn't use my mascara because I've dipped it back in with me. But, you know, just in case I start doing other people up, I would get a fresh mascara, and then you'd put in the the disposable one and not keep putting it back into the thing. But I also like the way that it applies. So you can buy them on Amazon like really cheaply, something like 100 for £2.
Oh, come on, just stop hiding, you Skulltuber.
Right, I'll show you this lash curler if it's actually charged up. Let me see, is it charged up? Yes, it is. So you switch it on like that, and the red light comes on. And I always put it on after my mascara, okay? And it doesn't take very long to charge up. Now, if you've got lighter brows than me, I don't think this is going to work on me because it's not dark enough. But if you've got lighter brows than me, sort of mid-brown, you can actually go in with the bronze shade and just do a quick sweep over your brows like that. It's not really going to work, I don't think, on me. But, right, now I'm going to... Why is my light flashing like that? Suddenly my light's flashing. Let me see if I turn it up, if it stops. It's probably because the battery's about to run out. Okay. So, this is what I do. So I just press down onto my lashes and just pull it up like that. And this will curl your lashes. But I always do it over my mascara.
I have no mats. I have no mats.
It just curls them up a little bit.
Why am I doing this?
See that? Okay, turn that off. Put the lid back on. Let that cool down a bit before I put it back in my... Mind you, it's pretty protected, that one. I'm just going to put a little bit of that darker pink just over where I've put the rock and coal, just to smudge it in a bit more. It's probably set now, so it doesn't really work, but it would make it look like a more pinky brown if you do it before it's set. Okay, stop watering, eyes, stop watering. Sorry about the flashing light. Don't know what it's doing, it's going a bit crazy. And then I'm going to go in with my Bronze and Glow. So using the blusher brush, I'm just going to take the side of it to use it as a sculpt. Like so. Other side. So just if you take the corner of it like that. Oh, I've got it on the other side. If you take the corner of it like that, just pick up some product in the corner and then just go in at the side. You can use it as a sculpt. And then a little bit round the edges here. A little bit under the chin. I'm going to use the whole brush for that. And then taking the eyeshadow brush and making sure that it's clean by doing that on your hand. Taking the bronzing shade again, which is this one at the bottom, the one I've just been using to sculpt. Dab that off a bit, and then I can use that to kind of do a quick nose contour. Okay, so I'll leave the blush till last because Charlotte always says that's what you must do. And I'm now going to go in with my tiny little Pillow Talk lip liner that I keep for this kit. And I shall line my lips and cover them as well. Okay, and then taking my Hollywood lipstick, which fits in to the brush kit, I've got Pin Up Pink, and I'm going to put that on. Not sure about that. It's too cool a pink. I need a warmer pink. I'll be right back. It's too cool. Do you see this is warm pink? This is quite cool pink. Bear with me, I will be right back. Okay, I've picked out, you could use Rising Star or Best Actress. This is Rising Star, which is the one I think I'm going to use. It's a little bit warmer, or you can use Best Actress, or of course you can mix them. I don't know, actually I might use Best Actress, or shall I, what do they look like mixed? Let's see what they look like mixed. Oh yeah, I like that mixed. I'm going to mix them. Okay, I'll put on Rising Star first. And I'm just going to block that a little bit with some tissue paper before I put the next layer on. And then Best Actress on top. I like that. And then, obviously, would I have room in there for 2 lipsticks? I'm sure I'd find room in my handbag. A little bit of a cheat there. And then we finish off with the blusher. So I'm going to do what I did yesterday. So the bottom shade I'm going to use as a swish. And I'm going to go a bit easier on the pop shade. Oh, and I'm going to use a bit of bronzer to finish off. Because I used it more as a sculpt shade. So, dab that off and pop. Dab that off and pop. There you go. And then back in with the bronzer. Just give that a wipe off. And then just go back in and using this as a bronzer, to just, oh, I haven't used the highlighter yet, have I? That's okay. And then clean that off again. And I'm going to go in with the gold one today. Actually, no, I'll mix them both together. Let me mix them both. Now, what I can do with this is you can squeeze the brush if you want to do that. So squeeze your blush brush to target it where you want to highlight. Mix them both. And then down the middle. Just make sure this doesn't look like a line on my forehead. And there you have it. A whole look using Charlotte's new glowing pretty skin palette on my eyes and on my cheeks and on my watery under eyes. Go away. And I will be putting some Magic Away on in a minute, because that is just not going to hold up. Retoucher is not good for watery eyes. It does not hold up, whereas Magic Away does. So I will be adding some more of that in a minute before I do the final photograph. So hope you've enjoyed today's look. Actually, 1 second. I thought the travel benefit my brow might fit in to my brush kit, but it doesn't. But bear with me, because I'm on the hunt now. Okay, Charlotte, you're going to have to bring out a travel brow kit product. But what I found is the Audrey eye pencil, which would fit into this kit and actually works on my brows quite well. And I will not cheat on things like this, because the idea was to show you how you could travel with just this kit and nothing else. And that is what I'm going to prove. And this would definitely fit in to this brush kit. And then just lightly pencil over the top and then run your fingers through and you've done your brows. Who says it's got to just be an eyeliner pencil? Hey? Who says? No one. I do wish though that my eyebrows, I know that their sisters are not twins, but I wish they were a little bit more identical. I wish they resembled one another. At the moment they're more like half sisters. All right, take care, have a great day, and I'll see you very soon. Bye. Sorry, I said I was going, but as usual, I'm back. With Magic Away, which I'm going to use before I do the final photograph because it's more waterproof. I wanted to show you, you know how I'm always talking to you about cleaning up the side of the eye and how you aim to get it like this so that your eyes are more lifted. Well, you don't even have to clean it up with Magic Away. It doesn't quite work with the retoucher because it's a little bit too sheer. You can try it, but it works better with this. So basically all you need to do is, hey presto, and you've cleaned it up. Again, just drawing on that side all the way up to the brow, and hey presto, she says, because her eye's been watering, there's a little bit of liner that is smudged up there, but out it comes. Okay, see you soon. Take care. Have a great weekend. Bye.